Well, hello, everybody. This is Dr. David Jockers, and today I'm talking about 12 strategies to overcome constipation when you're following a ketogenic diet. I've been coaching people on the ketogenic diet now since 2011, and I have found constipation to be a complaint that really I see typically in about 5 to 10% of the population that goes on a ketogenic diet. And I'm going to explain exactly why. I'm also going to explain really how to get to the root cause of this and correct it. I'm also, towards the end of the presentation, going to be going over very fast strategies, like how to stop constipation immediately in the next hour. So I'm going to be going through that as well. So just stay tuned so you can really understand this topic in detail. And if you don't know me, my name is Dr. David Jockers. I'm a doctor of natural medicine. I have a clinic called Exodus Health Center right outside the Kennesaw, Georgia area, or the Atlanta, Georgia area in Kennesaw, where I specialize in helping people get to the root cause of their underlying health issues. And this is my beautiful wife, Angel, my little boys, David and Joshua right there. And so when we're looking at stool and good bowel movements, we have this chart called the Bristol stool chart, which kind of categorizes it into one of these areas. And so you can see here, type 1, type 2, that's definitely going to be more of that constipation type, really tough to pass, little nuggets or kind of bumpy, sausage-shaped, lumpy stools that are harder to pass. We really want to be in that 4 category. That's kind of your ideal area, that sausage or snake in that kind of region. A 3 can be okay, depends on how easy it passes and everything. But typically you want to be in that 3 to 5 range, ideally around a 4. That's where we want to be on this. And so the reasons why people develop constipation on keto, number 1, not consuming enough vegetables. Vegetables have prebiotic fibers that help stimulate bowel motility. And I'm going to go into the right types of vegetables to consume on a ketogenic diet, because a lot of people on keto think they need to avoid all vegetables, and that's not the case. Okay, you do not need to avoid all vegetables. In fact, most people do very well on a lot of those vegetables. So we're going to discuss that. Not enough fat. This is another big issue, is that a lot of times people are doing high protein diets, and high protein diets are definitely going to be more conducive to constipation. We got to get enough fat and the right type of fat. And I'm going to go through that. Sluggish gallbladder. So your bile duct is really blocked and it's not producing the bile when we need it. We need bile to emulsify and break down fats. And when we don't produce enough bile and get it into the small intestine to digest the fats, constipation can definitely occur. We can end up with small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, fungal overgrowths, different things that lead to constipation. Dehydration. This is really common on a ketogenic diet, because on a ketogenic diet, we are lowering insulin because we're on a lower carb diet. So what happens there is when insulin goes down, we end up excreting more minerals and more water. So we actually need to hydrate more. We need more water. We need more minerals, particularly things like sodium, which helps with water retention. And that helps to kind of flush the gut and just really keep our body energized and lively. And so making sure we're getting the electrolytes, the water, very important. Now, another thing is when we're changing our diet from a standard American diet, or maybe just some sort of a high carb or high protein diet, over to a ketogenic diet, there's going to be changes in the microbiome. So this is a kind of a normal pattern where the microbiome has got to really shift. And that could take for some people a few weeks. And so we might need to gently move into this. All right. But also there's things we can do to help support the changes in the microbiome, so we can basically get the short chain fatty acid production we need to help stimulate and the vagal tone that we need in order to stimulate bowel motility. Now, eating too large of meals, for some people, they try, doing a lot of fasting and larger meals before they're ready for it. For some people, they handle it no problem. Other people, they can be doing it too quickly and causing a lot of stress in their gut. Stress in general can make it really, really tough. Stress drains water, hydration from our system, B vitamins, magnesium, things like that. And when you're under stress, you're thinking fight or flight. You're not thinking move your bowels, okay? So when people are under stress, they get constipated. And if you're under a lot of stress, that could be one of the major things. And then eating constipating foods. Like, what are constipating foods? A lot of people have trouble with things like cheese. For many people, cheese is a very constipating food. For other people, it could be eggs that could be a constipating food. For some people, it's nuts, believe it or not. So, if you are eating foods that are constipating you, definitely take those out. Cheese would be like the lowest hanging fruit. Cheese in general, if you're moving your bowels well and you're consuming cheese and you feel good, great, continue with it. I recommend grass-fed, organic, pasture-raised cheeses, raw cheese ideally. However, if you are dealing with constipation, you're eating a lot of cheese, take the cheese out and see what you notice. So that would be the low-hanging fruit there. Now, when we look at the research behind a ketogenic diet, we know that actually following a ketogenic diet for a period of time reduces bad microbes in our gut. So it helps reduce pathogenic strains of bacteria and yeast and things like that, because it's lower in carbohydrates. There's less fuel for these bad microbes. And typically bad microbes really like sugar. And so we reduce that, and that's going to have a good effect on our gut as well as our brain, because there's a very key interaction between the gut and the brain. They call the gut the second brain. There's more neurotransmitters produced in the gut than in the brain. And what's happening in the gut is definitely going to play a role with what's happening in the brain. And for many individuals, if they have issues going on in their gut, it's going to lead to trouble sleeping, anxiety, irritability, depression. So definitely ketogenic diet can be really helpful for gut and brain issues. Now, we got to make sure that we're getting the right types of prebiotics on a ketogenic diet to help fuel our probiotics. And so basically, fermented foods can be really helpful on a ketogenic diet for many people. That would be things like yogurt that's unsweetened, coconut water kefir, but not doing a tremendous amount. Aged cheese can be good, but again, it can also be a constipating food. Sauerkraut, kimchi, pickles, you could see things like that to support probiotics. And then prebiotics you're going to get from basically vegetables, things like onions, leek, garlic, dandelion, Jerusalem artichoke, avocados are rich in prebiotics. I wouldn't recommend the carrots if you're trying to get into ketosis because they're a little bit higher in carbs. But if you take a look at this, what we know is that when you're consuming these prebiotic fibers, and you can see the whole list down there that you take on a ketogenic diet, avocados, olives, onions, leeks, chicory, dark green leafy veggies, cruciferous veggies, asparagus, cucumbers, nuts and seeds, artichoke, radishes, garlic, celery, shirataki noodles, which make kind of a keto noodle or keto rice out of this sea vegetable called shirataki, which is really rich in glucomannan, a great prebiotic fiber. When you're consuming those, your gut bacteria is going to produce short-chain fatty acids, things like butyrate, which helps stimulate bowel motility, help feed the enterocytes in the gut, help stimulate bowel motility, have a positive effect on your parasympathetic nervous system, which stimulates vagal tone. And that helps with muscle contractions in the gut. So can be very, very helpful to consume these kinds of foods. I know for me, I do avocados when I'm eating on my non-fasting days. I'm doing avocados. A lot of times I'm doing olives. I oftentimes will do, nuts or seeds. Cucumbers are a big one that I do. Cruciferous veggies, celery. I eat like practically half a bag of radishes. I probably eat like 5 to 10 radishes every single day because my gut bacteria love them. And so you want to find the right kind of prebiotics for your body, and that will really help you stay regular. So doing that is key. Again, these kind of prebiotic fibers like inulin and fructans can help feed the gut microbiota and help with bowel motility. Now, for some people, they actually need to scale back on the prebiotics. So for some people, if you're noticing you eat vegetables and you get bloated and constipated, then you may actually need to scale back. Like I always say, hey, try the steamed broccoli test. If you consume steamed broccoli alone, or you could do it with butter or something like that, and then 2 hours later, you're bloated, or 2 hours or less, you're bloated, you don't feel good, you've got brain fog, it's a sign you actually have a bacterial overgrowth. You actually need to reduce your prebiotics, you need to reduce the amount of vegetables oftentimes that you're consuming. So you got to kind of see where you're at. And you may need this lower fiber, or what we call low FODMAPs diet, or you may need more. And so you got to kind of see where you're at and figure that out. Now, good fat and bad fat. Bad fat can be really constipating for your body. So I'd recommend avoiding that. Again, that's on this list on the right, whereas the good fats help promote healthy bowel tone. So coconut oil, ghee, grass-fed butter, stuff like that, really, really good for the body. Can promote good bowel tone, unless you have a food sensitivity, of course, to it. So we also want to nourish our digestive tracts. We know that the better we digest and absorb our nutrients, the better energy we're going to have, and then the better detoxification and bowel motility that we're going to have. So 10 ways to improve digestive juice production. This includes stomach acid, bile, pancreatic enzymes, making sure that during our stressful periods of time, we're doing more liquid nutrition. This could be protein smoothies, for example. Like I like to do coconut milk or grass-fed raw milk with avocado and then my keto protein powder. That's like one of my favorite things that I do almost every day when I'm consuming lunch during my stressful, more busier times. I love that. It's easy on my digestive system. It's got lots of healthy prebiotics, good fats in there, and some good clean bone broth protein, and nourishes my body. And it's, again, I don't have to use a lot of digestive juices to break that down. When we're consuming meals with meat, we need more digestive juices, more stomach acid, more bile, more pancreatic enzymes. So we need to be in a more relaxed period of time when we do that. You can see all these tips right here, using lemon, apple cider vinegar on your foods. Ginger is a great herb, but you could do a lot of different herbs. You could do ginger, turmeric, basil, oregano, thyme, things like that. Really, really good for helping stimulate digestive juice production. We want to hydrate well away from meals. Don't drink a lot with meals, because when you drink a lot with meals, you dilute your digestive juices. But outside of meals, like starting in maybe an hour to hour and a half after your meal, you want to really start drinking a lot of water. That's going to help your body to move things through the bowels. It's going to help keep you hydrated and really support good bowel motility and good digestive juice production. And you can see number 10 there, eat your largest meal when you're most relaxed. So important. When you're consuming that larger meal, particularly the meal with meat, you want to make sure you're very relaxed. In my household, we pray before our meal. What does that do? It helps put us in a state of gratitude. Gratitude helps drive your parasympathetic nervous system. That's the part of your nervous system that stimulates bowel motility. Okay, so it's good for digestive juice production, stomach acid, bile, pancreatic enzymes, gets everything moving and gets more blood flow into your digestive system, so you absorb more nutrients. There's less inflammation produced from the digestive process. You just feel better. So I would highly recommend that. It's also a good idea to have a little bit of fermented vegetables with your bigger meals. It could be just a little bit of pickles, for example. Pickles are good. Sauerkraut, kimchi, something along those lines can be really, really good. Just a little bit, don't need a whole lot with your meal. And that will help facilitate good digestion and good digestive juice production. Also good to squeeze lemon or apple cider vinegar on your meat or vegetables, okay, or a combination of those things. Lemon, lime, or apple cider vinegar starts a digestive process before it even gets into your mouth. So the acids, the enzymes in there start breaking these things down and making them more bioavailable for your body. So really good stuff to do. This is a great energy tonic that helps support your digestive juice production that you can be doing during the day. You just take a little bit of lemon juice. You take a little lemon flavored stevia, which I like, a little tiny pinch of salt for the minerals, and then you take your purified water. So if you're doing 8 ounces of water, you can do 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, a little stevia, a little bit of pink salt. Drink that, you got your lemonade right there. And it's really, really good to keep your digestive juice production primed for the meal. So really good stuff. Now, if we're under a lot of stress, what does that do? Obviously, we experience a stressed mind and body. It can also affect our sleep, but it's also going to reduce the digestive juice production again, right? We talked about that. And what does that do? That's going to reduce gut motility, often lead to constipation. It's going to create an overgrowth of bad bacteria called dysbiosis. It's going to cause an excessive amount of fermentation and endotoxins that are released from the gut into the bloodstream, which can affect our brain, which can create inflammation throughout our whole body. So it's really, really important we focus on good sleep and really focus on good stimulating that parasympathetic tone, getting the right digestive juice production when we're consuming our meals. So just super important there. If you're having a sensitivity to a food, right? So you may have a food sensitivity or food allergy that you're not aware of. There's different things that you can do. And in the article that accompanies this video, I go over that in more detail. But muscle testing is one way. Like if a food, you just feel weak when you eat it, that's a way. Or you can have somebody kind of push against your arm without the food and then put the food product on your tongue or against your heart and then have them push against your arm again and see if you're able to stay strong. That's one way. You can also do pulse response testing where you're seeing if your pulse jumps up or down. You can get a little pulse oximeter. It's like $20 off Amazon. You can see if it causes a big change in your pulse, and that could be an issue. And you could also just create a journal and follow an elimination diet. Take something like cheese out, like we talked about, and see if you feel better, right? Do it for a week, or ideally do it for like 30 days, a month, and then see if you feel better. And if you feel better, that food probably was having a negative effect on your body. So, you definitely can do these biofeedback testing methods. You can also do more detailed lab work, and we've got several different great tests for food sensitivities on drjockers.com. So if you want to check that out in more detail, you certainly can. Now, strategies for immediate relief from constipation. So if you're constipated, you're like, oh my gosh, I haven't gone to the bathroom in 3 days, then you need to go. And by the way, what is constipation? In my book, it's not only straining stools, but also at the same time, it's not feeling like you're fully eliminated each day. Like, I want to make sure I'm fully eliminated. And ideally for me, it's like two to three, maybe even 4 bowel movements per day to really eliminate everything. So you want to make sure that you're fully eliminating from the day before each day. So coffee can really help with that. I mean, many of you guys have probably experienced that. You drink a little bit of coffee and it's like you got to go to the bathroom. It can really help with that's a kind of a low-hanging fruit to help your body get rid of excess stool that's stuck in your gut. Saltwater flush. Okay, now you can take water and salt. You can put a tablespoon of salt in about 2 ounces of water. Chug that, okay? And it's nasty, 2 to 4 ounces of water. You're going to feel nauseous. And then give yourself about a minute and then drink more water, because you kind of have to like just stomach it there for a second and then drink more water. And that all that extra salt will help pull a whole bunch of water into the colon and almost like giving you an enema from the inside out. So give yourself a few hours to have all those wet stools and flush your system out. Okay, of course, you can do an enema. Okay, and then also increasing magnesium intake. You can take a magnesium supplement to bowel tolerance. Get a magnesium citrate, something like that, and take it to bowel tolerance. Take it up to the point where you have wet stools, and that will flush you out as well, giving you a sense of an enema without having to stick a tube up your rear end. Now, you can definitely do enemas, and if you do them, coffee enemas are great. One thing that coffee enemas do is they dramatically increase your glutathione S-transferase enzymes, and it really help increase glutathione production and also help prime the bile ducts. They dilate the bile ducts and they cause an increase in bile flow, which will then flush out the bile, right? Flush out toxic bile and gallstones and stuff like that. So coffee enemas can be really helpful. And then also, in general, in your meals, adding in something like digestive enzymes, maybe stomach acid or bile support. And on a ketogenic diet, you're typically looking for enzymes that are higher in lipase, because lipase are going to break fat into fatty acids and glycerol. So we typically are a higher fat diet. We're going to need more lipase. We have a specific enzyme formula called Keto Digest, which has a very high amount of lipase, as well as a whole bunch of herbal compounds that help stimulate digestive juice production, stomach acid, bile, pancreatic enzymes. So your body is able to secrete its own natural enzymes more effectively when you use this product with your meals. We also have a specific probiotic that really helps with recolonizing the gut bacteria as you switch into a keto diet. Okay, and so again, there's changes in the microbiome. So taking in a product like Keto Biome can really help facilitate and move that process along faster, getting the right type of bacteria to help with the changes in the microbiome. So check out those products on drjockers.com. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's training, and I'll be back on a future online training with you guys. And, if you have questions, certainly leave a comment. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, be sure to do that so you get all of these types of trainings delivered right to your inbox. Be blessed, guys. Bye-bye.